Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the April 26th Daily Inspirational Message. It's a condensed version, 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and then make a couple comments on the message, and I trust it will assist both of us on our journeys. Okay, here we go. The title: The Illusion of Judgment. Paragraph 1. The ego's judgment-centered programs and mindset have no control over you, other than the control that you give to them. Knowing this, when other people judge you, say to yourself what a great man once said, in quotes, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," end quotes. Then simply forgive their misperceptions of you. Let go of their judgments of you and of your judgments of them for judging you. For what could the false concept of judgment possibly be when God is love, truth, and all? There can be no opposition to love, which is all. Thus, in truth, there can be no such thing as judgment. If in truth there is no such thing as judgment, then what need would you ever have for it or to defend yourself against it? Judgment of self and others is simply a sign of one who has temporarily forgotten their true essence and nature. Paragraph 2. Today, let us recall that because God is love and all, judgment, placing itself in opposition to love, cannot be real or true. This makes judgment illusionary in nature. We enhance or diminish an illusion's effect on our lives by how much we focus on it. Today, when a judgment of self or others pops into your mind and demands to be recognized and fed, we simply decline its request to enter by overlooking or forgiving it. If we feel that we are not yet able to do that, then let us visualize handing our pain and anger over to God, and visualize and feel them dissolving before His mercy and light. Then let us pray for those who have judged us, or for those whom we have judged. If we cannot yet do that, then let us ask God to do this for us until we can feel and understand the wisdom of our divine path. All right. The illusion of judgment. Why is judgment and truth illusionary? Okay. Remember that God is love and God is all. And therefore we must be what God is. The truth in us must be what God is. And so our truth is that love. And only that love is true. That's the only thing true about us. That's the only thing true about our brothers and sisters, is that love. Judgment, condemnation, and those types of fear-based thinking, that's from the ego's programming. This is just an illusion, a fairy tale that we've been read over and over again, and so we now believe it as true. But judgment is not true. It is not part of our loving nature. It's only part of the programming that we've been taught to believe as true. And so all we have to do is recognize that that our truth, the love that we are, can never, in truth, judge our brothers and sisters. If we are judging, if we, in quotes, are judging our brothers and sisters, that's not us doing that. It's our ego, it's our programming doing that. And so there's no need to judge yourself for being judgmental. You just have to recognize what is truly happening. Okay, I'm judging. That means the ego and its programming has control over my mind. If the ego and its programming has control over my mind, then it has control over my life. And it's obviously thinking and reacting for me. And so how do I take back control from the ego? By using love's tools, such as forgiveness and compassion and kindness and understanding. When you return to love and use those tools, this fairy tale begins to dissolve away. The judgment begins to dissolve away. When we stop putting our time, focus, and energy on the judgment, it begins to dissolve away. Because now we put our time, focus, and energy on love and its expressions. So as love and its expressions are reinforced, the story lessens. And so we connect with our truth as the story fades away. And that's why we don't have to protect ourselves against other people's judgments of us or condemnations of us. Because if we really see what's happening, it's that the truth in them would never judge us. The truth in them can only love us. Why? Because the truth in them is only love. So when they are judging or condemning us, it is never the truth in them that's doing so. It is the story that they've bought into. That story, that programming is what is judging us. But if we understand that only the story in them is judging us, only the false in them is judging us, only the fairy tale is judging us, us as grown adults, we don't have to buy into the fairy tale as real. Us as awakened beings no longer have to buy into the lies as true. And so all we do is recognize, okay, they're judging us. You know what? It's not really the truth in them who's doing that. It's their programming. It's what they bought into, the lies they bought into as true. And so we don't need to condemn them. We just forgive. We forgive the illusion. We forgive the misperception. We forgive their misperception of us. Because if they saw the truth in us, they would see only our loving nature. And when we see only the truth in them, we see only their loving nature. And so we don't have to defend ourselves against some fairy tale of judgment. And so if we don't need that defense, what happens? Your fists relax, your arms come down, your smile brightens, and your heart begins to fill with compassion for your brothers and sisters, because you see them as only dreaming. They're only dreaming, and that's why they're doing what they're doing, or reacting how they're reacting. They're simply children who are asleep. And it's not like we're putting ourselves over them. And when I use children, I just mean there's an unawakened part of them that is temporarily in control of their mind. And so they're asleep. When a little child kicks you in their sleep, you don't punish that child. You just kindly turn the little child around so their kicks cannot hurt you anymore. And so just see what's really happening. And if for whatever reason you still cannot forgive their judgments of you, their illusionary judgments of you, okay? Invite God, please. I'm having a little bit of trouble forgiving my brother and sister for judging me. Can you please forgive them for me? I ask you to forgive them for me. And as you do so, as I start to feel how good that feels, to be released of that judgmental weight of having to carry that judgment day and night, and resentment and thoughts of revenge, if I can just place them down by allowing God to forgive them for me, because we're all one. There's a part of me who's connected to Source who's also forgiving them. And then when I start to feel that process, that flowing process of forgiveness, of compassion, of love, then the veils that block my ability to forgive my brother and sister begin to be lifted. And then I see, yeah, you know what? I feel good doing this. I feel good that God is able to forgive them. So I want to follow God's lead. I want to follow love's lead and also forgive my brothers and sisters, because I know that they're not judging me. I know that the truth in them can never judge me. I know that the truth in them can only love me. And so I answer that love with love. And I answer their call for love through their judgment. I see that as a call for love. And I answer their call for love, with compassion, with understanding, with forgiveness. And that's how we become a brighter light in this world, by remembering that only the truth in us is true. And just being who God created us to be, the light of the world. And when we do that, we start to see all judgments as just the ego's efforts to try to take away our peace. But in reality, all we are is love, and peace is an expression of that love. So these illusionary games of judgment no longer have the effect that it once used to have on us. Now we judge less and less, and we have more and more control of our minds when we do so, because the ego is no longer in control. And now it becomes easier and easier to us to forgive our brothers and sisters when the ego in them is seeing life, when they're seeing life through the ego's eyes. Okay, I think I made my point. I hope that's understandable. And if it isn't, please ask a question below in the comment section, and I will try to offer a response. Okay, thank you very much for your time. If you can be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it will help with the listening process, and it might help somebody release themselves from their judgment, from that illusionary state of mind, from the delusional state of mind of judgment. And if you made it this far, again, I love you very much, and God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.